open the meeting to public, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting is now open to the public. Comments are limited to one comment period of no more than 5 minutes. So there you go. You take it over, Ron.
Got it. Brenda, I saw you raised your hands. I'm trying to unmute you. You're up.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm here. Thank you. I hope everyone's been and has remained well during COVID-19 and fared well during the power outage last week. So glad to see you're all in one piece. My questions have to do with the vacation of, or the ordinance 21-2020, vacating 8 foot for house buffer and 10 foot for septic buffer for the property owner of 8 Oneida that was passed last meeting. We still aren't sure what the reason was to vacate the property instead of just providing an easement. We didn't get an answer to that question, so we wanted to ask that again. Also, has the engineer been instructed to flag out Riggs Lane, because we haven't seen any stakes down there to see where the property lines are? And also, what is the status of the title search on Riggs Lane? I know it was ordered a few days before last meeting, and I'm wondering if it's in, and if so, what information does it hold, and who was included in it as far as property owners? Did you need any information from us? I assume not, because we weren't asked for any information, but still want to ask. And if it is in, can we obtain a copy?
Thank you. Next up, Ron.
And I'll ask anyone from the public that would like to ask a question to hit the reaction button so I can see your hand. Okay. Michelle, you're on.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Mhm.
Michelle Guttenberger, private citizen. I have an issue, an accounting ethics issue, about the Hopatcong Hometown Hero banner program. And the issue I have is over its sponsors, because the sponsors seem to be political. Okay, according to Hopatcong Happenings, we have here, we would like to sincerely thank the following sponsors: Lake Hopatcong Rotary Club, Hopatcong's Women Club, Hopatcong Republican Club, the Schindler Young Re-Election Campaign. So I do have an issue with that. It would have been, I would like to know how you asked for these sponsors, because it doesn't seem like there's anyone from, let's say, the Democratic club that we have, Hopatcong Democratic Club, or any other organization. And also it seems to me that it was something that was purchased. People had to pay $100 to purchase these banners, and that there was no hardship clause for people who could not afford the $100 to purchase them. And then you're asking for also donations. And what are we donating to? Are we donating to a political party project? And as I'm looking here in our code book, and it goes under Chapter 20, Funds and Accounts, in regards to political campaigning, we have 20-6, award public contracts to certain contributors prohibited. And also, being that you are, the people who are Schindler and Young are on the council board, they probably approved for the printing of those banners and who would be the printer of those banners. Okay, so this was like a closed bid contract. So under here we have the New Jersey New Jersey SA 40-A 11-5 1A1 and or media public relations, lobbying, parking, garage, manage, managed business entity has solicited or made any contributions to. And then we have item number 2, any candidate committee established by the benefit of a candidate for the borough of Hopatcong elective municipal office. And we have 3, any joint candidate committee established on whole or part or for the benefit of a candidate for borough of Hopatcong elective municipal office. So I think you've covered those categories here where you're not in compliance under the 20-6 awarding public contracts. So to me, it's an ethics issue, accounting ethics issue that you had with this. So I wouldn't be giving great praise to this program again, because again, people had to pay $100 for it, so they purchased it, okay? And if they couldn't afford the $100, you didn't offer anything for them to get a banner up for their family. And you didn't publicly broadcast to the whole community for sponsorship. It seems to me that was biased to one political party, and these banners are going to be up for 2 years. And those people have no say, and what they purchased the banners, and you're putting them up for 2 years, and they're going to be in inclement weather and damages done to their banner. And then after, because it's a minimum of 2 years, and then after, they will get their banner back after it's been damaged because of weather, because you're not going to be taking it down. And that's another thing about our flags that we put up too. There's also rules or guidelines about the treatment of American flags. And you always put these things up on flag posts in inclement weather, which is to me very unpatriotic. There's a certain respect that we have for our flags. We take them down.
Thank you, Michelle. That's your 5 minutes. Okay,
so my 5 minutes are up. And you know what? I have a JPEG of all this stuff that because I cannot get a screenshot. I have a screenshot now, and I'm going to put these JPEG.
Thank you, Michelle. Next up, Ron.
Hello? Hello?
You're up, Mara. Yeah, you're up, Mara.
Thank you. I would like to ask if the borough, have we taken over supplying the food for the congregate nutrition program? And if so, where's the food that we're supplying coming from? And then I have a comment, and the comment is just that our town is always pulled together in time of need. So I want to thank everyone who helped get our power back. And that does not necessarily include JCP&L. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Ron.
Let's see here. Here we go. Mark, you're up. Mark, you're up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening. My name is Mark D'Ambrosi. I have lived on Leland Trail for over 30 years. Like many of my neighbors, I was here for Sandy. To find out almost 7 years during a state of emergency that Hopatcong has not even instituted effective communication systems to relay important and necessary information to residents is not just disappointing, it's downright dangerous. During this time, I also found out that the town repeatedly violated the First Amendment and the New Jersey Constitution by deleting comments on town social media pages. If that was not enough, 2 members of this body posted or sent messages that were openly hostile and combative. They also claimed that residents called for information as political, completely ignoring that a state of emergency had been declared and public safety issues abounded. You as a collective should be ashamed. Residents rely on you to get it right, to use town resources to plan for emergencies and secure our health and safety while you cannot control utility immediately responds in an emergency, you can advocate and lead us through it. As leaders, you must also fulfill your responsibilities to ensuring public safety in emergencies. You also have a duty to be transparent with actions taken in an emergency. Instead of town officials managing Hopatcong happenings stated, and I quote, are you ready for this one? There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that is happening that you are not aware of. You listening? Okay? We're not aware of. We also quoted, we don't have to make people aware of it. That's beautiful. Please cite the applicable law, rule, or regulation supporting that statement. If you do not have it available by the time of the mayor's response to the public questions today, please let me know by what date an answer will be provided. The fact that the town had no means of communication with residents in a power outage cannot be excused away. Please also do not insult the people by stating that the Borough Hall lost power or phone service. The emergency response plan should address such events as Borough Hall not having power or telephone. If it doesn't, then whoever wrote the plan needs a different job, or if a contractor was paid for it, then that contractor should be sued. The whole town readily managed to keep us updated on egg hunts, movies, and dress-ups for the Hopatcong market. Tells residents that our health and safety during a declared state of emergency matters less. That one person controls the Nixle alert system is dangerous and demonstrates that safety is not taken seriously. This was not a spontaneous storm. Wind speed and diameter were measured as the storm moved up the coast. The town had time to prepare, plenty of time, and ensure that the emergency response plan could be readily implemented. Instead, a Borough of Hopatcong social media page for, and I quote, emergency information and/or road closures and messages from the mayor and/or town officials for the town of Hopatcong. It was created on August 9th, a week after the storm. Something is indeed wrong with the way the town approaches this, and given this failures, I would like to know when the town's emergency management plan was last updated and by who. If you do not have this information available by the time the mayor responds to the public question today, please let me know what date an answer will be provided. I am also looking forward to reading the detailed report on all what the mayor said on the Borough of Hopatcong page. Will be forthcoming. We deserve better, and you can do better, all of you. That is evident by the acts taken and communication that started once the residents' frustration and outrage became clear to you. We have a wonderful community in Hopatcong. Residents reached out and came to each other's aid during the power outage. You need to rise up and meet us at our level. That's all I got to say. We deserve better.
Thank you. Next up, Ron.
I don't see any, Mike.
Give it a little time.
Okay.
Yes, hello. Can I make a comment? I tried to raise my hand, but I couldn't.
Oh, there we go. Here you go. You're on,
Yeah,
Dave.
hi. My name is Dave Hatton. I'm here representing Violet Hatton, who's also on this call. My mother is 81 years old. She's been a lifelong resident of Hopatcong. She lives at 9 Oneida Avenue in Hopatcong and also owns property, lakefront property on 12 Oneida. My family has been, I grew up in Hopatcong, and my family has dedicated much of their life to the community in Hopatcong, my mother being a school teacher for 40 years in the district. My father was school principal at many of the schools here. My late father. The reason I'm speaking in this council today is to support the comments of Brenda early on the vote on the ordinance 2120 for Riggs Lane. We feel that, my mother feels, and I also feel that this vote did not follow proper process and procedure in terms of the looking at the details of the facts. And basically, we would ask for it to be revisited and support the comments that Brenda had earlier. Having the properties in town, all the dedication that my my parents have given to Hopatcong. My mother feels that right now that the rights of this property that she had in her deed of her house, of her property, has been stolen away by this council, and we would like it to be revisited and properly looked at. So thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. More public, Ron?
Leslie Cole. Can you hear me?
You're on, Leslie.
Hi. Leslie Cole, 109 Francis. I'd like to thank everybody, those involved in the Hometown Heroes Project. I'd also like to thank everyone who responded to the state and town of emergency. Jennifer, I'd like to thank you for the posts you made on Facebook. I'm sure they were helpful to those who had stable internet access. I personally did not have stable mobile access. I'd like to thank the mayor, Francis, for having the recycle center and making the dumpster available so the residents could dispose of the spoiled food. The main reason I'm here today is to talk about the lack of communication prior, during, and after. The underutilization, again, of the Nextel alert system. I've spoken about this previously. The tornado warning, the state of emergency by Governor Murphy, road closures as they came in, any possible detours, what mobile access I had to the borough of Hopatcong communications came after the storm. I have my cell phone records of how the communications came in. Stanhope had listed the tornado warning. Byram had listed instructions of what was going on and detailed information. Once you hit the link, it took you to the Nextel website and had much more information listed, not just a quick blurb coming from the Hopatcong alerts on the phone. All right. My thoughts are that when a state of emergency comes out, especially weather such as this, maybe not so much the COVID, but a state of emergency goes out on a weather situation, that the OEM would be initiated immediately. And I would like to know if that was done. I'm concerned about the lessons from Sandy weren't done. I mean, mostly, to my knowledge and my experience, there's a review done after a situation like that, and I'm just wondering if that review report was lost, because it just seems like it was a repeat. The communication that was sent out about showers, I never saw anything about signing up for them until days after the announcement was made. Potable water and ice, I saw the notification go out for potable water and ice at Firehouse 3. Never saw the second announcement about ice. I did see the second announcement about potable water, but nothing about that you should bring containers, because I'm guessing that was a tank that was brought in. Again, okay, this is the big thing. Not everyone has a cell phone. Not everyone has internet. Some old Verizon lines usually still work. They worked for Sandy for me. Optimum phones most times do not work. They did not work for me this time. I'm wondering, the OEM disaster plan for communication, social media, Nextel, reverse 911, and when all these methods are out, even your main page, the hopatcong.org, you had emergency information mixed in with other documents on the main page that you had to search for what was going on. Plus, the text is so small on that page, you really have to squint to see what's going on. And when you look on it on a mobile phone, it's extremely difficult. And you can expand a mobile phone, but it's still very difficult. When all the electronic methods are impossible to access, you need to go to old school, whether it's a bullhorn with a car or a police car going around using their speaker. You have to go to old school. And the communication was incredibly lacking. And I hope before the next storm or other state of emergency or town emergency, state of emergency occurs, that the communication process is improved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Ron. None?
Hold on 1 minute, boss. Yeah, we're good. Hold on. Not responding. Okay. I don't see any more, boss.
Entertain a motion?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're back. Okay. John Urson, would you respond to questions about Rick as much as you can?
Sure. There was a pretty simple question, why the municipality leans towards vacating parts of right-of-ways that are no longer needed rather than an easement. Typically, if the property isn't needed for public purposes, we would rather not own it rather than give someone else rights to use it, because when you give someone else rights to use it, things like dumping or pollution or damage to the property end up becoming the issue. So typically, the policy has been to vacate areas that the municipality doesn't need rather than give easements where we would still own the property. I think the quick update on Riggs is we partially vacated the road at the last meeting. I think the comments, there was the words used were stolen property rights, and I think the group over there is represented by Steve McNally. He's a very competent attorney, and I'd encourage them to be speaking to their attorney. When we vacate a portion of a right-of-way, we're not transferring any property rights, and we're certainly not stealing anyone's property rights. We're not canceling any property right that's recorded at the county clerk's office. We're merely declaring that a portion of the property is no longer needed for public purposes, and the municipality no longer is going to claim that portion of the property. As a result of the questioning at the last meeting, we did a title search. We got in a preliminary report. And I think it's safe to say that as it appears now, the municipality does not have an ownership interest in Riggs. And so the likelihood is that we'll be vacating, at least my recommendation is that we'll be vacating all of Riggs in an upcoming meeting. And if the municipality doesn't own it, the tax record should be updated to the proper owners. And our process of vacating it is to remove the municipality from the equation where we do not have an ownership interest. This situation is not unusual for the borough. A lot of developments were done without full land use procedures because a lot of the development was done before there was land use procedures. A lot of them were done by filed maps and less formal procedures than would be followed today, and were done in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even early 60s, where the ownership didn't track as clearly as it would today. So I think I have communicated with Mr. McNally, the attorney for the neighbors, and I think he understands the situation well. And the likelihood is the recommendation will come up to vacate the rest of the road. And then the title owners in the chain of title at the county clerk's office will have whatever rights they have on the recorded record.
Thank you. In reference to the hometown heroes, are we out of compliance with any statutes?
I could not understand even what the complaint is. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm not aware of anything that you would be out of compliance with. I guess the one complaint is that rain damages flags over time. I guess if you buy the good material flags, I guess they'll wear well, but the rest of the stuff I didn't understand.
Thank you. Dawn, what's our involvement with the congregate food supply?
I'm sorry?
What's our relationship with the congregate food supply?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah,
You mean in relation-
probably a question for Ron. Still coming from Newton Hospital, right, Ron? You're muted, Ron.
You talking about the senior center?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not for me to answer to.
Yeah, everything that Contingent Food Supply is being delivered, supported, and dealt with through the county division of senior services. We were the only nutrition site in Sussex County that was still on for them to provide food to us and the cost of that food and the delivery to the center. We've been a distribution site at the center for people to drive by and pick up foods and partial delivery on our senior bus to those seniors that could not come to get, but it's all sponsored through the Division of Senior Services in the County of Sussex.
And I think it still comes from the hospital, right, Ron?
Yeah, they cook it. And that, but it's funded through the county.
All right, thank you. In response to communication issues, we will debrief on that in the near future with our OEM and administration. And if we need to improve equipment or redundancy in equipment, we'll certainly look at that.